Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor, your source for World of Tanks related news, and today I would like to talk about the fourth iteration of the Sandbox server. As I already mentioned in my previous video where I played the two E100 games, I said that there was a new iteration of HE changes. And this is now what we are going to discuss today. First, we're going to look at what Wargaming officially told us. Then I'm going to show you some comparisons to live server and let you also see some gameplay in the background. And lastly, I will obviously tell you my personal take on all of this. So let's firstly start with what Wargaming has to say. First of all, they want to say a couple of words about the preliminary test results. Over the past weekend, we tested a new mechanic, gathered statistics and analyzed them. The test showed that the mechanic of dealing damage works correctly without technical issues. Now we can gradually reconfigure the efficiency of HE shells. I am already scared of this statement because it basically says that we most likely will not see pens anymore on HE rounds. Because they're saying, well, they want to reconfigure their efficiency of HE shells and they are happy with how the damage dealing works. And once again, I really do want to point out, if this video ever reaches Wargaming, HE, in my opinion and a lot of other opinions too, is a high risk, high reward type of shell. If it doesn't penetrate, it shouldn't do that much damage. If it penetrates, however, it should do a lot of damage. I want to choose if I have to play risky, try to get this extra 20% more damage in, try to one-shot the artillery piece, or maybe even bounce and completely screw myself over. I want to get this kind of reward when talking about HE. Nevertheless, what happened to HE vehicles? Since the start of testing, one of the most discussed points was the future of the vehicles that base their gameplay on using HE shells. For example, the KV-2, the Stage 2, and the Japanese heavy tanks and some premium vehicles. Well, honestly, there's only the KV-2 as a premium vehicle. T-49 will also be a candidate on this list. We're listening to your feedback and we will pay close attention to the precise reconfiguration of gameplay for such vehicles. However, the current test will check the system scale change in the mechanics of HE shells without reconfiguring particular vehicles. We will start tweaking certain vehicles individually after we finish the stage of testing and come to the common conclusion. Additionally, we will make changes to hash shells in the following iterations of Sandbox. So this is for all the people which constantly ask me, Raging, what about hash, what about HEP? This is it. That will come in a later iteration of the test server, okay? Because right now there are no HE rounds, hash rounds at the moment in the game. If you, for example, look at the Stage 2, no more hash rounds. If we look at the Centurion 7-1, no more hash rounds. Speaking of which, you can see I've got a decent chunk of free experience to use, luckily provided by Wargaming to just test and give my personal opinion and take on it, as I'm a little bit tight on time. If you have any tank you want to see being played by me, let me know in the comment section below, and well, press that subscribe button if you enjoy such videos. Now, this is interesting. Those are the changes with the recent update. Characteristics that were tested from first day to now represent the minimum efficiency of HE shells. Next, we will continue their step-by-step reconfiguration in search of the optimal efficiency and frequency of use in battle. Again, this is a very clear indication, in my opinion, that Wargaming doesn't want to bring back pens on HE, which is really saddening. Anyway, increase the damage per shot value for all HE shells by 75%. This should affect the efficiency and frequency of use among all HE shells, both low and large caliber. I do want to point out, this change is ridiculous. Like, where before I did like 73 damage or something, 170 damage on an E100 turret, IS-7 turret, I now dealt almost 600 damage shot on an IS-7 turret with an E100. But to that I'm coming in just a bit. Correct the damage drop-off on the burst radius. It will be changed from 0.1 to 0.5 on the edge of the splash. We will also make the damage drop-off from the center to the edge more linear. This change will permit dealing damage if you hit an external module. Next, increase the probability of critical hits on a vehicle's modules. That definitely felt like it happened to me. More guns blown, more tracks blown, more viewports blown. And again, I have to say, that's a risky change, wargaming, because, well, never mind, it's actually very good for you because it forces people to actually use big repair kits, the premium consumable ones, which are much more expensive. Increase the angle of armor shrapnel spread in internal model is hit from 45 to 60 degrees. So it sounds like that we have more module damage in general. Reconfigure the shockwave mechanics to deal more damage. This will be mostly noticeable on lightly armored vehicles. And lastly, fix the deviation in damage per shot for some HE shells with this value in update 1.5, which is the technical cut of the Sandbox server. So, about the 75% damage additional. The E100 in the previous iteration had 330 alpha, now it has 565. And I would be lying if I would say that on average I roll 400, even 500 most likely. Because that's how it is. You roll around 500 damage, even though you have 0 pen because of the new pen mechanics. It's like, in my opinion, ridiculous. It completely negates armor in every single way. It completely negates armor. It's actually ridiculous. 2 things I want to show you. The first thing is here you will see 2 clips of me shooting HE at the OI with a KV2, which has more HE alpha than the OI, on the live server. In both iterations, both tests, on the exact same spot, I needed 4 shots on average to kill an OI, which is kind of okay, I'd say. If you think about it, you have a long reload time, etc, etc, etc. Now, a small little clip from the Sandbox server where it's from the live stream, hence why the chat in the right hand side. But as you might see, first and foremost, where I hit, I dealt 500 damage, even if I have 555 alpha with 0 pen. If you note that we have 1300 hit points with those tanks, you will probably think about, whoa, that means that on average in 3 shots, you're going to die instead of 4. How it is on a live server right now. And this is something I just noticed in general. Like, the amount of damage you can do with playing stupidly in quotation marks, because you don't need to aim anymore, you just click and press, is ridiculous. Like, the second game in a Type 5 Heavy where I was able to stay a slightly bit longer, to stay alive a slightly bit longer. I did around 6, if I'm not mistaken, 6k damage. I have to quickly check that. 6.6k damage. And that's just ridiculous. Yes, I had some weakly armored vehicles, but I also had tanks like Jack Panzer U100. I just shot into his tracks and boom, 500 damage, easy peasy mode. And it's also important to note that the Type 5 Heavy actually, if he spams premium rounds or special rounds, it deals an additional 60 damage. So we have the same problem again as we already have or had before the Type 5 rebalance. And now, as you now have a look at the replay in the background or the footage in the background, I'm just sitting here wondering what is going on. Like, I heard from a lot of people from the Russian server that they hate HE spam and that it's just very stupid in general. And now, basically, Wargaming made it even worse. I had a very good game in the E100 with HE only, because it doesn't matter the armor, you can shoot at the superstructure of the Jack Panzer E100, you really have 500 damage. That's ridiculous. On average, in 7 shots, I could, in theory, kill a Type 5 Heavy with HE, and vice versa, obviously. Because if you do 500 damage and 3,500 divided by 500 is 7. That's just ridiculous if you think about it. You don't have to aim anymore. Like, the current iteration, the 4th iteration of the HE, of the Sandbox, feels like I get Vietnam flashbacks from back when the Type 5 Heavy was incredibly strong. And it's the same deal again. Just that on many other tanks you can spam HE only. Even the Kranwagen dealt 200 to 300 damage to me on a Type 5 Heavy. Even though the Type 5 Heavy has a ridiculous good armor, if you think about it. It's just... I genuinely do not like it. Like, this iteration is a complete step in the other direction. Like, it's a 180 from what we had in the first iteration. In the first iteration, basically, HE is dead. In the second iteration, it's basically the only thing which matters. Like, two completely ridiculous differences. Like day and night. And I hate both. I genuinely hate both. Although I like the first iteration more, or the third iteration of the complete balance. Like the first HE change I liked more because it promotes to not only spam HE. Because right now, even with the E100, you can spam HE like a madman, and it works. And it works rather flawlessly, to say the least. A German streamer / YouTuber, which is infamous, probably will love this change so much because he plays E100 only with HE and thinks it's his good on live server, by the way. Like, my goodness sake, at the moment I'm in shambles. Like, what is going on? It's a completely 180. It feels stupid. It feels weird. Why? Why do we suddenly now have a ridiculous strong HE spam meta? Wargaming. What the heck are you doing? Kurwa. But well, what do you think? Do you like the new changes? Do you dislike them? What tanks do you want to see being played in like 2 games, as I already showed you previously? Let me know in the comment section below. My name is RagingRaptor. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll talk to you all later in a different video.